Hey guys, Marisa at KitchenTableStamper.com. I'm here with another card from Paper and Ink Cards December. Every month I do paper and ink cards. It's a 4-card class. It's $15 or free with an order, and all adult crafters in the Chicago area are welcome. So if you got questions about paper and ink cards, you want to join us for a class, email me, Marisa at KitchenTableStamper.com. I'd love to have you join us for a class. Paper and ink cards is usually the 4th Monday of the month, unless it's a holiday, and you can check out the classes at kitchentablestamper.com/calendar, and that'll tell you what's going on in the Chicago area in my home studio. All right, so we're doing this The Gift of Your Friendship Means So Much card, and the Stampin' Up! Supplies that you need to make this card include this Feathers and Frost stamp set. I love this stamp set. It's so gorgeous. It's from the holiday catalog and it's available while supplies last. It's retiring. We're also going to use a tailored tag punch, and I use that for my dovetails. I've got my Memento Granny Apple Green for my Stampin' pads. And then I'm using my Stampin' blends. I've got the dark basic black, light granny apple, and the real red combo pack. My consumable supplies for this project include Granny Apple Green card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Measurements are on the blog below the embedded video. If you're on YouTube, there's a link to the blog. Whisper White 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. I've got a piece that is 2 by 3 1/2. We're going to use that for our bird and our flower. My greeting panel here is 1 inch by 4. I've got some garden green for punching my leaves, and this is about 2 by 4 inch scrap, and about 9 inches of linen thread will do ya. It's my Stampin' Up! Leaf punch, and we're going to use that for our leaves. So let's go ahead and punch those real quick. Now, you don't need that third kind of pointy leaf. We're going to use just 2. So you can go ahead and punch 2 of those. And you don't need all of the stem really either, because it's going to get tucked under the flower. So we got our 2 leaves. I'm going to go ahead and use my snips to just take off that one pointy leaf on the right side. And now I'm going to clear the area. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pierce mat and my ink pads. Okay, so I'm going to take my largest panel of Whisper White, and I'm going to ink up this gorgeous wreath. I'm inking it up with Granny Apple Green, and I'm bringing the ink pad to the stamp, leaving the stamp on the solid surface like the table. That way we get the best possible ink coverage. You can get, when you've got one firm surface, instead of doing like a symbol monkey, when you've got one firm surface, you can get better ink coverage and more consistent ink coverage. So I'm happy with my little wreath, and I'm going to stamp it about 1/4 of an inch from the top here. And you really want to walk your fingers around this big image so that all areas transfer. Hold gentle pressure. Give it a few minutes, let the ink transfer, and then lift. Look at that gorgeous wreath. Isn't that beautiful? All right, we'll set that aside for just a minute. Now, I've got this scrap here, and what we're going to do is stamp our bird in Memento. And we're going to stamp our flower in Memento. And those are going to get colored and fussy cut. We'll just put that aside for a minute, let it dry. Next up is our sentiment. And you'll notice that the sentiment says, "The gift of your friendship means so much, especially at Christmas." Well, we want to make this a little bit more general, so we're going to mask off, especially at Christmas. I'm just going to take a Post-it note, and I'm going to mask that off. And then I'm going to ink up with the Memento. And then I'm going to take the very edge of a baby wipe here, and I'm going to wipe away the ink on those ... the last 2 periods, and give it a stamp. And you want to stamp it to the right side. There it is. Now, let's grab the tailor tag punch while we're at it and just quickly snip out the little dovetail here. And there's our banner. Now, it's still a little bit long, so I'm going to cut in a little bit closer. There we go. I like the length of that better. All right, now I'm going to take away the Stampin' Pierce mat and get rid of the ink pads here. We're going to do some coloring with Stampin' blends. All right, some simple coloring here for my flower. I'm going to take the dark real red and just color in all the petals. And then the light granny apple, color in the centers. My bird is going to get colored completely with the light real red. We're just gonna scribble in little circles, fill it completely. And to give him a little shape, we're going to just speckle where the artist has drawn in the little dots on the belly and on the wing. You can put a little stripe of the dark red along the wing, the bottom of the wing, and then along the tail. Go in and do that again. Just speckle with the dark one. We can let that one dry. Now let's grab our wreath and the light granny apple, and we're going to color in each of the leaves with the light granny apple. And it's just a quick color with no shading. Okay, when all of the leaves are colored in with the light, then you're going to go with the dark and color in the dark real red and just color in all the berries. Just scribble a little circle, no shading here either. All right, there's all of our berries. Now, let's clear away all the things on our work surface. We're gonna put them all aside. We're gonna take some paper. You can drop this into the bottom of an empty box, you know, the order that your Stampin', or the box that your Stampin' Up! Order comes in. Save that little box, because you can drop this down into the bottom of a box, and that'd be a great way to protect your work surface. But we're about to speckle the background on that paper. So we want to really cover up good and make sure that we get ink only on those things that we really want ink on. All right, so I think that's pretty good there. I'm going to put my paper right in the center of my protected area. I'm going to take the brush point of my basic black, and we're just going to flick against the cap and speckle our cardstock. When you've got the desired effect, it's very subtle, it's small little speckles, then you're done. And clear away the cover, and we've protected our area. All right, now that we've got a wide open space, let's bring in our Stampin' trimmer. What we're gonna do with this is cut this wreath right in half. Yep, right in half. So we're gonna kind of judge half. About 3 1/8 on the long side is pretty good for half, and just cut it into 2 pieces. I know, we just worked so hard to color it and then cut it in half, right? Hang on, you'll see in just a minute. All right, let's bring our sample back in and our card base, because I want to show you what happened there. So if we've got our little wreath and it's all put together, and then we add this big friendship means so much, we lose a whole lot of our wreath. So instead what we're doing is we're elongating that wreath so that this longer sentiment can brooch it without covering all of those beautiful colored details that we just did. So you want to add some snail adhesive and center the top part of your wreath right to left. And then we'll take the bottom part of our wreath. We're gonna go at the bottom edge of the card and center it right to left. So there it is. Now, we've got to do some fussy cutting. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut these guys out. I'm just gonna use my snips here. I'm gonna leave the tiniest little white edge on this flower. And I did that because it doesn't really connect all the way through in the center. And the white edge just makes it kind of jump against the white edge of the sentiment. It works. But on my bird, we're gonna cut off his legs because we don't need to fussy cut those. We're gonna cut them right off and we're gonna cut on the line. See, and you'll notice that I turn the paper, not the scissors. Close the scissors with your dominant hand, turn the paper with your non-dominant hand. That'll give you your best fussy cutting. I'll go ahead and do these and then I'll cut back in just a minute. All right, so I'm all fussy cut here and now you'll see that that gap is going to be covered by our sentiment. But before we do that, let's grab the linen thread and we're going to tie a little bow right around this sentiment panel before we adhere anything. We want the bow down toward the bottom of the panel here. All right, now let's get our little leaves. We're going to add those guys in with a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. Just on the stem, we'll put one set, and then the other set. Now those little stems are going to get covered up by our flower, so it's no big deal. They also give us position to fit our bird's legs back on. See, our bird's not going to remain without legs. I've got my little dude here and my Stampin' Pierce mat. So I'm going to ink up the bottom half of this bird and get his legs all inky. I'm going to protect my Stampin' Pierce mat because we're going to stamp off the edge here. What we're going to do is put our little bird, put his legs right in where they look natural next to the leaves. There you go. All done. We can clear this stuff away again. All right, so you'll notice that there's a bird that goes each way in this set, and I just happen to use both of them. We're gonna go ahead and add some snail adhesive to our greeting. Cover up that gap. We want to make sure that our leaves don't go off the fold side of the card and our little dovetail doesn't go off the open side of the card. See? Now our little fussy cut details. Let's grab some Stampin' Dimensionals and finish up this card. So I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional, half one on the back of my bird, and I'm going to put half a Stampin' Dimensional on the back of my flower. And the flower gets snugged right up against the bow. And if you're feeling like your stems are a little long, that's okay. You can trim and kind of reassemble however you like the leaves. We're using it more for the leaf than for the stem and the sprig, so they're a little bit long there. This one too is a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and just reassemble it completely. I don't think I did on my first one, but it's okay to just make this leaf look however you want it to, you know, as long or as close as you want it. All right, that's better. I like that. Now where's my little birdie? There he is. Let's make him sticky. Put him back on his legs, right over the image that's stamped on the paper. There it is. Now, tails on my linen thread need a little trim. They're a bit long. And that's it. The gift of your friendship means so much. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, if you've got any questions about the project, about classes in the Chicago area, about the holiday catalog and the year-end closeout, you can email me, Marisa, at kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching.